In a case that has sent shockwaves across the nation, Rick Harrison, the once beloved face of the History Channel's Pawn Stars, was sentenced to death after being unmasked as the orchestrator of one of the darkest human trafficking networks in American history. Court records, testimonies, and sealed FBI investigations revealed that behind the smiling TV persona was a calculated criminal mind responsible for decades of human exploitation. The courthouse in downtown Las Vegas, usually a hub for more mundane legal battles, was transformed into a battleground between disbelief and horror as details of Harrison's crimes emerged. From the moment Harrison was escorted in shackles into the courtroom, it was clear that this was no ordinary sentencing. Federal agents, jurors, media, and the public collectively realized that the man once celebrated for witty pawn negotiations was in fact hiding a monstrous double life, sending tremors through every home that had once tuned into his show. During sentencing, the courtroom sat frozen as prosecutors outlined the extensive charges against Rick Harrison: human trafficking, money laundering, false imprisonment, and conspiracy under federal racketeering statutes. Victim testimonies, forensic financial records, and grim surveillance footage turned what some assumed was a misunderstanding into undeniable proof of systematic evil. As the judge read the death sentence, the atmosphere inside the courtroom shattered. Gasps and cries broke the suffocating silence, with even seasoned reporters struggling to maintain composure. Outside, the media frenzy ignited instantly, with Rick Harrison's death sentence trending globally within hours. Fans were divided between disbelief and devastation, many refusing to accept that the gruff but lovable reality TV star had orchestrated such horrific crimes. Meanwhile, survivors who had waited years for justice expressed a grim sense of relief that the truth was finally acknowledged on a global stage. Central to the revelations was the role of Rick Harrison's gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, which had been an unsuspecting epicenter for laundering millions and facilitating trafficking transactions. What appeared to tourists as a quirky, bustling storefront was in reality a front for international crimes. Investigators uncovered underground rooms used as holding cells, coded business transactions, masking human sales, and internal security footage that documented grim activities shielded from television producers and the public eye. The very building millions visited with excitement and curiosity was revealed to be a house of horrors, a disturbing reminder that true evil often hides in plain sight. Through shell companies, manipulated paperwork, and carefully orchestrated logistics, Harrison created a dual reality: a vibrant celebrity empire on the surface and a brutal network of exploitation behind the scenes. The FBI's Operation Pale Pawn unraveled Harrison's empire piece by piece, beginning with the disappearance of a teenage girl in Reno that traced back to a shell company linked to Harrison. Months of undercover surveillance, digital forensics, and careful infiltration exposed a complex web of shell businesses, offshore accounts, and coded communications, referring to human lives as merchandise. Every lead pointed back to Harrison's operations, revealing a staggering level of organization more commonly associated with international cartels than with reality television stars. Investigators likened the structure of his operations to Fortune 500 companies, ruthlessly efficient, methodically hidden, and backed by layers of false legitimacy. What began as whispers online and anonymous FBI leaks culminated in a shocking display of evidence that left even veteran agents shaken at the depth of betrayal hidden behind the pawn counter. Perhaps the most devastating piece of evidence was a black leather ledger discovered hidden behind drywall in one of Harrison's private storage facilities. This book, referred to as the Ledger in the Wall, meticulously cataloged over 230 individuals trafficked through Harrison's network. Each victim was reduced to cold mechanical data, ID numbers, dates acquired, country of origin, physical condition, and final destination. Handwritten by Harrison himself, the the ledger's tone showed no signs of hesitation, shame, or remorse. Instead, it portrayed a man who treated human lives with the same detached professionalism he displayed when appraising artifacts on camera. Handwriting analysts confirmed the entries matched Harrison's samples, while financial and immigration records corroborated each horrifying notation. The ledger alone dismantled any remaining arguments of innocence, branding Harrison not just as a participant, but as the architect of a global trafficking network. In a heart-wrenching turn, Rick Harrison's own son, Corey Harrison, took the stand to testify against his father, delivering emotional and damning evidence. Corey, once a co-star on Pawn Stars, recounted years of suspicious late-night activities at the shop, secret renovations, restricted access to business operations, and the discovery of horrifying photographs disguised as inventory files. His voice cracked as he admitted suspecting the worst by 2019, but being paralyzed by disbelief and fear. Corey described a chilling moment when he confronted Rick about a mislabeled package filled with images of young girls and was met only with the cold warning, "Close the box and forget what you saw." His testimony not only exposed the inner collapse of the Harrison family, but also highlighted how Rick's manipulation extended beyond victims, ensnaring even his own flesh and blood in a web of denial and fear. Austin Chumley Russell, another familiar face from Pawn Stars, added another crushing blow to the prosecution's case when he testified about the strange coded activities he witnessed at the pawn shop. Describing late-night arrivals, the mysterious item 27 inches radio code, and the chilling response he received when he jokingly questioned Rick, Chumley revealed how the crimes were happening just out of sight, masked by layers of trust and celebrity illusion. He admitted his own guilt for not coming forward sooner, acknowledging that only after hearing about the hidden ledger did the full horror of his memories click into place. Under cross-examination, Chumley stood firm, confessing past mistakes, but making it clear that the atrocities committed under Rick's reign went far beyond anything he had been prepared to imagine or tolerate, helping paint a complete and damning portrait of Harrison's hidden empire. Financial crimes experts exposed the intricate laundering system that Rick Harrison built alongside his trafficking network, blending fake antique sales, casino money exchanges, real estate flips, and offshore bank accounts into a seemingly legitimate business empire. Through shell companies registered in tax havens, and by exploiting his celebrity status to avoid scrutiny, Harrison moved millions of dollars while avoiding detection by financial regulators. Expert testimony outlined how transactions for rare artifacts, consulting services, and real estate were carefully layered to cleanse illegal funds, often disguising the sale of trafficked victims behind the facade of valuable antiques. Even casinos were exploited, with Rick buying chips using dirty cash and cashing them out as clean earnings. The evidence presented by forensic accountants left the jury in no doubt that Harrison was not merely reckless, but calculated, running an operation more sophisticated than many organized crime syndicates. When federal agents executed a search warrant on Harrison's pawn shop, they uncovered what would later be dubbed the Room, a hidden soundproof chamber specifically designed for detaining and processing trafficking victims. This grim discovery included a bolted containment cot, surveillance cameras, sedatives, and manila folders cataloging human beings by aliases and physical traits. DNA evidence and high-definition surveillance footage linked the Room directly to Rick Harrison's trafficking operations, with one sticky note, written in his own hand, instructing staff to record every intake. Additional hidden rooms revealed encrypted video archives cataloging the arrival, holding, and transfer of victims, many of whom were later identified by survivor testimony. The revelations of the Room solidified the true extent of Harrison's depravity and erased any remaining public doubt about the reality of his crimes, demonstrating a chilling level of planning and industrialized human exploitation. Perhaps the most devastating moment of the trial came when survivors themselves testified, each recounting the horror they experienced at the hands of Rick Harrison's network. 4 women, known only as Victim A, B, C, and D, delivered testimony so harrowing that even seasoned court reporters struggled to relay the details. Their accounts, spanning from fake modeling contracts to forced sedations and holding in hidden rooms, brought the courtroom to tears and silenced the last murmurs of disbelief. Each survivor described not just the physical horrors, but the psychological manipulation, the dehumanization, and the chilling efficiency of Harrison's system. Their courage in facing their abuser and the detailed, corroborated accounts of their suffering transformed the trial from a forensic expose into a human reckoning. For the jury, the survivors' words crystallized why Rick Harrison's crimes merited the ultimate punishment, and why justice demanded not only his conviction, but his erasure from public legacy.